Students, we all know what will happen if we bring this piece of paper near this flame of a candle. The piece of paper starts burning, which produces ash and smoke. We call it burning in our general terms. However, in science, this is known as combustion. So, scientifically, combustion means burning of a substance in the presence of air. This combustion is a chemical reaction. It is a chemical change because we will not get back the paper. By burning of the paper, when the paper is brought near the flame of the candle, there is combustion in the paper. We get heat, light and carbon dioxide. Therefore, this process is known as combustion. And combustion is very, very important because it is only because of this combustion that we are able to cook our food by using fuel. A fuel is an example of combustible substance. So there are two types of substances as far as combustion is concerned. One is a combustible substance. Those substances which undergo combustion when they produce heat, light and smoke. For example, the ones which you use in your homes. Firewood, kerosene, petrol, diesel, they are the examples of combustible substances. We have others also, plastic, paper, rubber, these also come under combustible substances. So, kerosene, paper, dry leaves are the substances which are known as combustible substances. Whereas some substances, even if you start heating them near a flame, they do not catch fire. There is no combustion there. So these type of substances which do not undergo combustion, they are known as non-combustible substances. To name a few, there is wood, steel, iron, copper. They do not undergo combustion. Even if we heat them, they do not produce ash, smoke or heat. Therefore, combustible substances and non-combustible substances, these are totally different from one another because one substance is combustible and another one is non-combustible. What are the necessary conditions required for combustion? Let me explain you with the help of this combustion triangle before we do an activity. For combustion to take place, as you had seen, I had taken a candle and a paper, and when I brought the paper near the candle, the paper caught fire and it started burning. That means combustion was there. So there were three things during this. There was a combustible substance in the form of paper. Around me there is oxygen or air, and there was the supply of heat from the candle. So all the three things are necessary for combustion. However, if there is absence of any one of these, say if there is no heat but there is only oxygen and combustible substance, there will be no combustion. If there is heat but there is no oxygen and combustible substance, there will be no combustion. If there is oxygen and heat but we have nothing to burn, there will be no combustion. Therefore, this combustion can be represented in the form of a triangle. Absence of any one of these will not lead to combustion. Let us perform a simple activity to see the importance of all these three for the process of combustion. Let us learn about the combustion triangle. What are the necessary conditions required for combustion? For combustion to take place, three things are important, and every one is dependent upon the other. First is the requirement of a combustible substance. In this case, this is the candle. The presence of air, which is already here in this particular environment, and we need heat, which will be supplied from here. So all the three things are present here: the source of heat, the combustible substance, and air, and hence the triangle is complete. The combustion triangle: the presence of oxygen, which is already here, the presence of heat, which will be supplied, and the presence of a combustible substance. Hence the triangle is complete. So this candle starts burning and it is a combustible substance. However, in the absence of any one of these, combustion is incomplete. Let us take, for instance, there is the presence of oxygen, heat, but there is no combustible substance. So there will be no combustion. Combustion is not there at all. In the second instance, let us assume that there is the presence of combustible substance, there is heat, but there is no supply of oxygen. So ultimately combustion is incomplete. Therefore, for combustion to take place, there should be a source of heat, presence of oxygen, and a combustible substance. Now let us learn the three types of combustion. The various types of combustion, as you can see, can be classified into three types: spontaneous combustion, rapid combustion, and explosion. The names itself explain us what is the meaning of these three types of combustion. In the case of spontaneous combustion, spontaneous means automatic, without any external source of heat. Sometimes forests catch fire due to the friction between the dry branches of trees. Continuously rubbing of branches of trees, dry leaves catch fire. Sometimes on a marshy land, there is fire, spontaneous, automatic, without supplying heat to them. We will see it in our activity also, the three types of combustion. In the case of rapid combustion, there is an external source of heat, but the combustion is very fast. Say for example, if there is leakage of petrol in any place and a small matchstick is thrown to that, by lighting the matchstick, there will be the spread of fire in a very rapid way. That is an example of rapid combustion. The word itself, rapid, means very fast. And the third type of combustion is known as explosion. In this type of combustion, there will be production of heat, light and sound. And the best example of explosion is firecrackers, which we use it in Diwali. During Diwalis, we use the firecrackers which produce an explosion. That means they produce heat, they produce light, and they also produce sound. So that is also an example of combustion, but we classify it as explosion. So there are three types of combustion. Spontaneous combustion, that means automatically no external source of heat is required for combustion. Rapid combustion, that means whenever there is combustion, it spreads very fast through the fuel or any substance which catches fire. And finally there is explosion, where there is production of heat, light and sound. Let us see the three types of combustion, one after the other. The first one, spontaneous combustion. As the name suggests, there is no supply of source of heat. Automatically heat is generated from the combustible substance. This is an example of spontaneous combustion. For this activity, we require a small amount of potassium permanganate, which I am putting inside this bowl. We add a little amount of glycerin to it, and then to initiate the reaction we add a little bit of water. So as you can see, no heat was supplied here, but there is some reaction here. So ultimately it catches fire. After spontaneous combustion, let us perform an activity to see what actually a rapid combustion is. For this activity, we require a little bit of ethyl alcohol or ethanol and spread it on this plate. So when I light a matchstick, see what happens. So very rapidly the fire has spread from one end of the plate to the other end, wherever the alcohol was distributed. This is an example of rapid combustion. This is the final type of combustion, which is also known as explosion. As the name suggests, there is sound, heat and production of light. It explodes. So for this activity, I have taken the lower end of a refill, which helps us in writing, and fill this refill with the contents of a matchstick. I've inserted it properly and a nail is fixed to it. Now when I bring this near the flame, let us see what happens. We should be careful while doing this type of activities. I bring this near a candle or a burner. So you could see a very loud explosion has taken place. It was heard. So that is an example of explosion.